Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm very excited to welcome Kathy Powers to the stage. She is Partners of Culinary Nutrition Associates and one of our CIA Healthy Kids Collaborative chairs. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, Kelsey. Thank you. Hello, my name is Kathy Powers, and I'm chair of the CIA's Healthy Kids Collaborative, an initiative designed to accelerate innovation and deepen technical and professional expertise in K-12 school food. Our 40 or so members are engaged year-round to create and promote a culinary-driven, healthier foods for kids. Today, we're fortunate to have two Healthy Kids Collaborative members who are among school nutrition most recognized leaders join us as panelists. Our first panelist, Jessica Shelley, is Director of Student Dining for Cincinnati Public Schools, where she oversees the service of over 60,000 meals a day at 65 schools with a $35 million budget. Two things I want you to know about Jessica. First, she's an exceptional leader. How many of you had a pandemic plan in January? Prior to the pandemic, she had a pandemic plan for her district. Second, she is a generous leader. The days school began closing, she shared her pandemic plan freely with schools across the country. Jessica is a true school nutrition leader. Hi, Jessica. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Kathy. Thanks for having me.
Another thing that I just love about you, Jessica, is your sense of humor and your wit. Whenever you post on Facebook, I make sure I stop by for a good chuckle because I know that you're going to have a sense of humor in spite of all the chaos that's going around us.
That's important to have. It keeps us sane.
Good. I look forward to hearing about your operation.
Thanks. Thanks for having me. So a little bit about Cincinnati Public Schools. We are an urban school district of about 37,000 students. We have a high minority population, and also about 85% of my students are free and reduced lunch eligible. So we're serving students that are at risk, food insecure, don't have the nutrition that they need to be able to fuel up to learn for the day. So it's really my responsibility and my pleasure to make sure that all of my students receive a healthy and nutritious meal each day. We do provide free breakfast to every single one of our scholars. We have a very high participation rate, and we're very proud of that by making sure we do outreach to our classrooms and to our students to make sure that they're welcome and invited to dine with us. Our lunch participation is also exceptionally high for an urban school district, and that's because we've really worked hard to engage our high school students, the ones that somehow don't think that coming to the lunchroom is the cool thing to do. So we've worked very hard to make sure that our menus are a reflection of what they want and what they see as trending in restaurants. We have a lot of other great programs going on, from farm to school, Lifetime Foundation's Clean Label program, Good Food Purchasing program, farm to school, salad bars, fresh fruit and vegetable program. We really try and encapsulate all the opportunities we can to provide great experiences in the dining room for our students. Next slide, please. And I don't think people realize that school lunchrooms are actually the biggest restaurant chain in the country. In Cincinnati alone, my schools actually serve more meals a day than any other restaurant chain in my city. So it's really important to understand that schools can be the catalyst and the driver for what students are looking for, both in our dining rooms and also out in restaurants and eventually into colleges and universities. We make sure that we serve a lot of milk, right? You guys can see that. And so we make sure we're sourcing that milk from local, small Ohio dairy farmers. 90% of our milk comes directly from these farmers. We also source 38% of our local fresh produce from some places within 250 miles of Cincinnati Public Schools. So we're really trying to take that money that we get from USDA for reimbursement for our meals and invest it back into our community. And that's what school nutrition is here to do. Not only support our students, but support our families and the communities that we live in. I'll turn it over to you, Kathy.
8.5 tons of produce a day. That's a lot of fruit and vegetables. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our second panelist. Michael Rosenberger serves as director for the Food and Child Nutrition Services for the Dallas Independent School District, where they serve 155,000 students each day with a $110 million budget. He's also chairman of the board for the Urban School Food Alliance, a nonprofit advocacy organization of a group of the largest districts in the country. Michael is known for being an innovative leader. I saw this firsthand 12 years ago when he gave me a tour of one of his schools where he had just installed a tortilla maker so they could provide a more authentic meal experience for their students. A few years ago, he shared his kitchen renovation plans that brought the cooking out to the front, to the service area. Among his many awards is Food Management's magazine K-12 Innovator of the Year. Welcome, Michael. So glad to have you today.
Wow, thank you, Kathy. I'm going to hire you for my motivational speaker with an introduction like that. I appreciate it.
It's all true, Michael. You are so innovative. I look forward to hearing more about the innovations that you're doing in Dallas.
Thank you, Kathy, and hello, everyone from Dallas, Texas. A little bit about the Dallas Independent School District. As Kathy said, we have about 155,000 students, over 225 schools. We are the second largest school district in the state of Texas, and we're among the top 20 largest districts in the entire country. About 90% of our students are economically disadvantaged. We are a 100% CEP district, which means all students eat all meals at no cost. And we are a majority school district with some incredible diversity among our student body and among our staff as well. So I'd like to share with you some lessons from the COVID-19 pandemic that we've learned. We began our pandemic feeding program right after our spring break in mid-March, and have continued that program up to now. It'll be continuing till the end of this month. And we've served approximately 10 million meals to children here in the Dallas Independent School District. So one of our big lessons was we've never done a pandemic feeding program before. One of our lessons was, wow, with support from the community and support from the district, we can do this and we can make a positive impact in children's lives, even in the most trying of times. Our federal and state waivers assisted with that, our being able to do that. And one of the interesting things is that while we had to cut back a little bit on our scratch cooking initiatives, we balanced that with significantly more fresh fruits and vegetables available in meals for all of the 10 million meals that we've served to children here in the Dallas ISD. So looking forward, how does K-12, how are we pushing healthy foods forward? One of our most innovative strategies is working with our produce vendor, giving them forecasts of fresh fruits and veggies that we will purchase. And then our produce vendor actually contracts with Texas farms and farmers to provide those foods for us throughout the school year. We're really pushing plant-forward entrees, particularly in build-your-own concepts, where students can add regional, national, and international flavors and foods to their build-your-own foods to really give maximum flexibility to our very diverse student body. We're also a leader in going green as far as environmentally sustainable solutions. For example, we have a compostable, recyclable plate that we use for all of our meal service. And on an annual basis alone, that plate keeps 40 million styrofoam plates and trays from going into landfills. So we're really proud of our initiatives. We still have a long way to go to get to where we want to, but we are relentlessly doing our very best for all the students of Dallas ISD and through some national initiatives for students across our entire country. So I hope you found this interesting. And Kathy, I think we'll go back to you.
Thank you so much, Michael. You truly are an innovator in the K-12 school food space. Thank you for sharing that. Jessica back, and we can take some questions. I first have a question I want to start with. I want to know how student food preferences have shifted in recent years. And I'm asking that in a lens for what other food service operators can expect. So as these students potentially go on to college and university, or as they go out into the world, how have their food preferences shifted?
Yeah, I've really seen that what we do in our school cafeterias really mimics what students are seeing in restaurants and their bodegas that are surrounding their homes. So we find that the trends that you see on TV are what the trends kids expect in the lunchroom. They're exploring new flavors, they're exploring new concepts. Sometimes our kids are a little bit timid to try, especially our younger population. So we try to incorporate new flavors with familiar concepts. So if a child's very familiar with a teriyaki chicken, we might try a curry chicken to see how they respond to that. We do a lot of taste testing, a lot of innovation. Lots of times we work with our school community resource coordinators to create a day, an experience around the world culture cuisines that we're introducing to our kids.
Great, thank you, Jessica. Michael.
Yeah, look, our students are the most diverse student groups that we've ever had, and they're also the best educated about good food and good service because they eat out far more than children did back a long time ago when I was young. And so, you know, the bar always goes higher and higher in terms of your student expectations for food quality, for customer service quality. It's a moving bar, and it's also exciting because it certainly makes us stretch and grow to always try to be a step ahead of our student customers and deliver the absolute best for them.
Great. We have a question, Michael, for you from Matt. Matt wonders what helped guide you when selecting items to reduce in the from scratch category in your menu program. Was it food cost? Was it labor cost? Consistency? During the pandemic, how did you make the decision about reducing scratch cooking items?
Yeah, you know, we were disappointed to reduce the scratch cooking because that had been a trajectory of ours for years and years. But frankly, when you're serving 10 million meals, and really we're doing 5 lunches and 5 breakfasts at a single time, entree-wise, we had to go to more individually wrapped and prepared items. And I've got to say, industry is giving us higher quality items than ever before. So it was really what fits into the convenience and delivery model to provide this many meals at once to students. And what we found, unfortunately, was our ability to provide scratch cooking didn't fit as well as we would have liked in that model. But boy, we're still committed. We have some amazing recipes to introduce this year once we get into a situation where we can go back to that.
Great. Somebody said that we just put a pause button on things. Jessica, Darcy has a follow-up question to that. When do you expect you'll implement scratch cooking again?
You know, I'm really hoping that's going to be sooner than later. Right now, a lot of our decision-making process in the kitchen is being guided by our local health department. So what we can and cannot do is very, very regulated right now, because they want assurance that the food that we're serving is safe and has been and not safe in terms of food safety quality. Let me explain that. What we're serving to our students is in a safe manner. It's really hard on labor to scratch cook and then package it all up into a product item servable, and then into a unitized meal servable, and then get it to the classroom. So it's the labor structure isn't there to scaffold the ability to scratch cook anymore. So it's one of those hard choices we had to make. And I truly believe it's a pause. It is absolutely a pause button. And I really hope that both industry, parents, and community understand and give us a little bit of grace as we move through this pandemic, because this is not a future we're laying forward. We're just putting the pause button on so that we can respond to the situation and then go back to the motivation and innovation we've been moving forward through.
Great, good. Well, Emma has a couple questions related plant-based meals. And first, I'm just going to lay out all the questions and then we can answer it. First, do either of you offer plant-based meals every day as options other than peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? And then what about grab and go plant-based entrees? And then she has a question about how food service directors reduce inexpensive meat and cheese purchases from USDA foods while maintaining budgets. So that's kind of three parts. What are your plant-based options? How do they translate to grab and go? And how do you reduce meat and cheese purchases? Jessica, do you want to start?
Yeah, we offer a variety of plant-based options. I will be completely transparent that for our population of students, it is completely a new experience for them. Some of my students, if I serve falafel, will look at me like I have grown a second head. That's not something they're familiar with. It's not served in their homes. And so it's one of those things that we kind of go gently into. So we do offer plant-based options, but they are not well received in a way that we would want them to be. We offer falafel wraps. We offer hummus, bento boxes. We offer pulses that have been blended into a different chili blend, or actually we use a pulse from a lentil into a nacho. We've done beans as an entree salad option. So it's a full legume instead of any kind of animal protein. But it is a challenge to have the acceptability. I think they're delicious. I love them. I eat them anytime I go into a school, but it is a challenge to get the students to accept them.
Great. Michael.
Yeah, we offer a minimum of one vegetarian entree daily, and many days more than one. So, you know, the plant-based is a core focus of ours. And while some people may think of Texas, and there's reason to think of this as brisket and barbecue, once again, we have an incredibly diverse student population with students from all over the world. And this is one of the reasons, the motivations for going to more and more build your own entrees. So students have the ability to choose a protein-based, a meat-based protein or a plant-based protein, and then they can select a number of flavor profiles to go into their plate. So that's really our future, is more and more options where students can customize and build their own meal with their own unique flavors that they want. And sometimes they come up with amazing flavor combinations that, I might not think of, but I've tried a few and they're incredible. So we have some future chefs out there for sure, doing some fun things with some of the build your own options that we have.
So Gary has a question about build your own, but before I get to that, I don't want to skip over Emma's comment about inexpensive meat and cheese. Michael, could I put you on the spot and ask you to speak to the Urban School Food Alliance's initiative with poultry, with turkey, I believe?
Yeah, so through the Urban School Food Alliance, which is a grouping of 12 of the largest school districts across the entire country, the food service departments coming together to make positive, sustainable change in the K-12 marketplace. One of our biggest successes was the introduction of no antibiotic ever chicken. And 5 years ago, you couldn't find no antibiotic ever chicken anywhere in child nutrition. And now it's become a standard because the Urban School Food Alliance banded together and said, we're not going to buy chicken that doesn't meet this standard. And we're really proud of being able to have that positive influence in the marketplace. And we expect to have an announcement relatively shortly regarding turkey. And so be on the lookout for that announcement coming soon. But we're definitely trying to get together and improve the nutritional quality of foods that go into the K-12 menu planning, availability, and foods that K-12 districts purchase to boost the nutrition profile for all students across the entire country. What we know is when we eat better, we perform better. And so the healthier and better our meals are, the better we boost student performance.
Great, thank you. Back to Gary's question. He says in his area, students have 20 to 25 minutes to eat. Great if you're number one, but not so great when you're feeding 1,000 students and you're at the end of the line. How do you both work with the build your own concept in that limited time frame? Michael, we'll start with you and then move to Jessica.
Sure. Number one is are your points of service, and how many points of service do you have? And then number two, benchmark the time that it takes a customer to go through your serving line, and do some research on where are your customers getting caught up. And finally, in the build your own, we do extensive research with our students to find out what are the most important parts of build your own. Is it the center of the plate, the protein, whether it's an animal or a vegetable protein? Is it the sauce that they get to choose to put on? Is it the veggies that may go into that bowl, or fruits that may go into that bowl or plate? And then that's what we focus on, maximizing their choice there and minimizing the number of choices elsewhere. So you have to be very strategic to really hit on what's the most important element for your students. And then, that's where you give them maximum choice, and everything else just bam, bam, bam goes a lot quicker. So we found the combination of really paying attention to our students, doing the hard research, and then building serving lines that accommodate that, and then having an adequate number of serving lines for that. And as popular as the build your own are, it's not always the most popular. We have other entrees. Pizza is always going to be a student favorite. And so there's some balancing also of your menu to balance out the lines that go to each of your different concepts.
Great. Thanks, Michael. Jessica, you were about to share. I know you have something to add here.
I agree with Michael. I think that's strategic, is that we usually have one build your own station a day. We have 8 different stations people can go to, but we have one build your own. And usually that balances out. We also really heavily involve our students. So we have salad bars, topping stations, spice stations, so that our students actually become involved in the build your own process. So that also takes a lot of pressure and labor away from what we're doing in the cafeteria. I also wanted to address back to Emma's question about the commodity products that come in, and that is challenging. You know, we do a lot of direct diversion, but our focus as being one of the only 10 school districts in the country as part of Good Food Purchasing Program is that we have a laser focus on animal welfare, on local economies, you know, environmental sustainability, value workforce. So one of the things we're benchmarked on, and it's a board policy, is how much of our chicken is NAE, how much of our products come from a manufacturer that actually has a valued workforce, how much of our product is sourced locally, how much of our product is sourced sustainably. So we have a lot of benchmarks that we have placed upon ourselves to ensure that we're doing the best we can do in providing our students with good nutrition and clean label food.
Great. That's great to hear. Thank you, Jessica, for adding that. One last question. I see Kelsey is coming up. Do I have just a minute, Kelsey?
Yes, you have just a minute.
Okay. Using the crystal ball, what can the rest of the food service industry expect from your young guests? Jessica, we'll start with you.
I think they're going to have an expectation of what they find in your lunchroom is what they could find anywhere else in a restaurant. So they are following the trends, and they are kind of helping us lead the way and pave the path for new and exciting dishes out there. I think these kids are smarter and more savvy than we give them credit for. And like Michael said, many times I get questions about what is our environmental stance? How green are we? These kids are paying attention, and they're looking and seeing what's going into the compost pile, what's going into the recycle, and what's going into the landfill.
Great. Well, I think we'll have to wrap it up with that. Thank you so much, Michael and Jessica. I truly appreciate your leadership in the industry, insights that you shared with us today.
Awesome. Now I'm not going to take you off the screen yet, because you're going to give us the much anticipated top takeaways right after I make just a few announcements. So first, I wanted to say a big thank you to our upcoming break sponsor, Oatly, who has invited Amanda Cohen to showcase a special culinary demo during this break. And we also have the opportunity to visit our generous sponsors to see culinary demos, trends presentations, and insightful videos. And you can also please don't forget to check out the networking tab on the left, which features 4-minute video chats with a special question of the week that will be posted in the event chat. And as a reminder, you are entered into a raffle each week when you participate, and if you attend and participate all 6 weeks, you have a chance to win registration and travel to next year's conference. Now for the most exciting part, Kathy, will you take it away with your top takeaways?
School food is cool. Michael, what do you say?
All right, so I had to do a 6-word or less summary. Here we go. Our students are your future customers.
Oh, how can I top that?
Jessica.
Our students are the future.
Absolutely. Well said. Thank you, both of you.
Yes, thank you so much, Kathy, Michael, and Jessica. I'm watching you guys, and I'm super excited to see what the future holds. So please stay tuned also after the break to see more of Michael on the main stage in the Sectors as a Catalyst for Change general session. But for now, please go enjoy the break, and I'll see you all later.